Oh, all right, where am I? Who am I? Oh, that's obviously an old photo. Ladies and gentlemen, I never leave my laboratory without my protective helmet. It's a dangerous world out there. I'm not talking about physically, I'm talking about ideas. There are ideas that can be disruptive to a person. That's why I've lined the interior of my protective helmet with 300 Post-it notes who tell me who I am, where I've been, what I want to do, and the plan that I've set out to instrumentally activate without permission of anyone involved. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I come to you today with a very interesting talk, which for the next 6 hours we'll be discussing the opposite of control and planning. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You see, in this world, there are forces that exist alongside of us that we are not aware of, that are already working to subvert our sense of logical reality. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me demonstrate first by roll film. Yes, I've got some data here, which I'm going to demonstrate for you, which was first found through a digital leak. It basically depicts creatures living alongside of us in our world. I'm not talking metaphysically, I'm not talking microscopically. I'm talking about occupying the same streets and thoroughfares that we occupy during the day. These creatures seem to have emerged in the public eye, and they are actively right now taking strides to integrate with our civilization. Now, I don't see any branding. I see no signage that would help us understand exactly what the corporate message is here. It does not appear to be underwritten in any way, and it doesn't seem to have any kind of theme or purpose except to energize people about the reality of their own existence. I think it could be very dangerous, and because it seems that some people are obviously taking pleasure at having a slight relief from their sense of reality and its confinement. And I think that this should probably be looked upon in a way that we can regulate it. As you can see, the more vulnerable members of our community, the children, are starting to get weird ideas. Imagine if they think that anything might be possible and that they could, without a purpose or a plan, just activate their space to make it one of joy and improvisation. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to think about this. We have to think of ways to contain this viral, strange, potentially exploitative, adjective-laden threat, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, it's going to be here, and it's presenting a world that I'm not sure we want to live in unless you want to lose complete control and just give yourself over to artistic invention and improvisation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've done some tracing of this group with my organization. We traced it to the Big Nazo Lab, some sort of laboratory art factory where this individual, a Mr. Quasimodo, has enlisted some of the strange creatures that you saw earlier and have found ways to make them more humanoid, to comfort them, make them more easy on the eyes for the humans. So you can see now that they're emboldened to take to the streets, they walk with impunity and actually began doing street theater maybe 3 decades ago, where they've found friendship amongst the human population and formed a rock band. This band has been playing in public. As we all know, most of our entertainers have something to hide, some deep, dark secret, and they are no different, ladies and gentlemen. It appears to me that what they're doing is they're winning over society, one newspaper headline at a time. They've spread beyond the limits of Rhode Island, internationally, as far away as Japan. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I think that I want you to all understand that what I'm going to lay out for you now is a way of maintaining complete control at all times. Now, the first thing that we have to do is steadfastly think about something's happening. I actually think I'm losing some kind of control right now. Whoa. Well, and I kind of like it. What's going on? What's happening to me? Ladies and gentlemen, it has not been easy having to take on a surrogate persona, an avatar, so that I could find a way to build myself up in the ranks of human society. My research showed me that if I were to create a surrogate for myself that resembled an aging, white, academic, professional with a lab coat, that you would consider any opinion expert. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I would like now to revisit footage that is more contemporary. Please roll the second film. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we look once again at these creatures, I want you to think about the idea that they're fragile. Just their physical movement in space says, do I belong here? Can I belong here? What does that taste like? They make experimentation, trying to figure out their place, secretly wanting to contribute, but mistaking a post office box for a lover. They aren't sure of the delineation between species and who they should be partnered with. And their anxiety forces them to seek others in a world that they don't understand. But when they do find each other and join forces, they share stories and they become empowered to go into the public world, making inroads with the human population, finding like-minded people and those who have the same color eyeshadow. Now that they're on the streets, they walk amongst the people and they start to feel, ladies and gentlemen, that they too can become part of society. But as they travel, they're still kept out of certain restaurants, ladies and gentlemen, and they have to fight, sometimes making a ruckus to be heard, and they rush forward. Where? To the children, to the humans who still have open minds, who have not defined personality based on color, shape, or the amount of tentacles. And as you can see, this is like the potential of the world that I am here to see to its fruition, so they can say, we are here, and we're going to keep it weird for a long time. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take a closer look at some of these individuals. I am a scientist, as you can see, so I wasn't kidding about that part. But I'm a scientist who put his clicker inside his pocket. And so, ladies and gentlemen, over here, we're going to go right here. We're going to take a look at some of these individuals. It's very easy to look at these creatures and to think of them as all belonging to one group because they share certain attributes of basically just being different than us. But when you take a look at them individually, they all have qualities that define them as individuals. And more than that, each one of them is secretly the expression of an inner human who is finding a way to be more than human and perhaps more human. Ladies and gentlemen, you can see that a different shape and a different body, it shows a different potential that a humanoid figure can find expression. Ladies and gentlemen, these creatures are individuals who are feelings manifest. They're ideas that made mistakes and still found a way into reality. They're brought into this world, just like you and I, a combination of chance and traditional biological function. Ladies and gentlemen, I beg you to consider that even though they are all God's children, they're also human children because they are the products of our imaginations. And they dwell within us, usually manifesting in our dreams or finding a way to occasionally appear in our real world, which we hold so close to ourselves without a wide-angle lens. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I now would like to kind of go further and talk about this slide. I don't know who that is. That's strange. I'm going to go now to the next. Excuse me? Madam?
You know what I mean? I've just been waiting all day.
Madam, I'm in the middle of a presentation.
Serious. What a mystery man.
Madam,
I'll have recess with Ted.
If you don't mind, before security comes and drags you away, I have to continue. I only have 17 minutes here.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at this photo right here, Madam, take a look, yes. This is a photo that we uncovered, which shows a new phenomenon. Here are the creatures, and then they've found a way to become human. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, once again, the creatures on the streets have found a way to pose or to recreate themselves as human beings. And in this case, they're the students of a class at the Rhode Island School of Design called Creature Creation. That's the identity they've taken on. And as you can see, to explain further what was happening in that classroom is that they have gone in to meet with children and coordinate orchestrate a performance they could bring to the classrooms together, where the child becomes the MC expert on the creature's life. And so they once again model a sense of community that you rarely see in this day and age.
That's Ted, right
Madam,
there?
Madam, I don't know who Ted is, but Madam, if it will help you leave the stage, I would like to make an offering. I would like you to take the truth with you. Ladies and gentlemen, I, like these creatures, am also wearing a mask. Let me reveal.
Oh my goodness.
So, you may have this, madam, and you may take anything that I have on the stage with you as a little take home. Yes, take it with you. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to kind of not kill time here by going to how the creatures are made. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You would think that perhaps there is a studious, focused environment, but let the music play. Let's watch how it's done with play and work together. Oh, yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, the process is one that is also performative. And that's where we're going to go now, ladies and gentlemen, to the Big Nazo Lab, which is the home base for this activity of creature making and insertion into reality. It's a space in downtown Providence where you can see that the children will assemble and suit up and sometimes overpopulate or actually dominate the human presence on the street. A lot takes place in front of the lab during the day as well at night when it becomes a sort of performance space occasionally. If you can get past the giant crab that guards the entrance, you will see that there's activity in the inside. This is a glimpse of a birthday party where people are eating cake, but here we see Connor hard at work at making a giant plant monster. We go further on and we see, ladies and gentlemen, that the materials are made out of foam, but you'd have to be a rocket scientist to understand the process, so we'll move forward on that. And ladies and gentlemen, here you can see we're painting, we're coding, we're having customers work on creating these creatures, doing the touch-up detail so that they can be complete in this way. And ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, once again, that is not Ted, but that is... That, ladies and gentlemen, is another persona that I've had to become in order to justify this talk. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Faccia Verde numero uno. That's green face number one. And I'm here now to show you some of the work of the Big Nazo Lab itself. Madam, this is a creature called Shoggoth. It's here. It's very typical that we would make a piece of artwork that would be on exhibit in a museum, then escape from the museum into the streets, and then end up in Times Square, where it cavorts and does whatever it wants. So these creations live outside of our own bodies, ladies and gentlemen. The Big Nazo Lab itself, for instance, well, we make no claims that we're too good for dumpster diving for materials, but we also sometimes will walk home from school with the kids or just walk for the fun of it. Appearing sometimes at international festivals like the Just for Laughs Festival or at the Colosseum in Rome, where our founder Quasimodo first finished the last naval battle. Here we are doing something for Waterfire. This is the Necronomicon Festival. And then sometimes we're sniffing other creatures at festival grounds. Here you can see that we're on the back of a flatbed truck or leading a giant parade in Central Falls, empowering the youth and the children there. And we will also make an appearance. If you're voted Employee of the Week, well, we'll celebrate in our own unusual way. And ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we also want to put the children out in front of their peers, where they can appear without their own physical attributes and find release. We'll ride a fire truck in a 4th of July parade or clown around with the kids.
When I was a teenager, how could you?
That is you. You're one of us? Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, it just goes to show you never know where they'll show up. Here we are boogieing with the kids, doing interactive workshops at the Children's Museum, on the Temple of Music stairs, but also appearing in front of mural art projects with the Avenue concept, where the artwork is painted right onto our characters so that there's a thin line between what is painted and what is 3D. A private birthday party in someone's house, and as you can see on the stage at Lupo's Heartbreak Hotel, where we've had the privilege of working with Mr. George Clinton and P-Funk, and operating on stage with him and his mothership band, and also performing all over the world or at a rave dance party, where you can see these folks who probably had a little too much tea or something are touchy-feely, but remember, it also goes back to childhood, and it also, ladies and gentlemen, goes back to infancy. There's a lot of grabbing that goes on. We've worked in the fashion world. This is Style Week, representing the bags of Ken Stetson. And ladies and gentlemen, we've also DJ'd parties, appeared with fog machines on stages, and sometimes with 150,000 children at the Zeiterion. This, once again, is a combination of street theater or land or by boat, ladies and gentlemen. We will do it all. This is at the Pronk Festival. Sometimes we'll emerge from the sea itself or go right to the shopping market where we delivered that lobster and bought 50 pounds of butter to cook it with. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, a mishmash of large crowds and intimate gatherings where we are in many selfies, but we're never selfish. Sometimes we get in trouble with SWAT teams. It happens, ladies and gentlemen. When you do this for a living, you're bound to have someone think you're suspicious. We've also got Spider-Men and Spider-Women and every superhero dancing at the Comic-Con because we're the closest thing to real superheroes anyway. We keep our identities secret. Many of us are on the Witness Protection Program. But ladies and gentlemen, we can do astounding, amazing things in the streets or in the personal lives of people's homes or on the stages or in the big top, ladies and gentlemen, where we sometimes appear before the Ringling Brothers show. But we always find folks out there who sometimes resemble us and feel a kindred spirit to our nature. And we kind of get along on a human level. People dress to meet us. And here we are in Burning Man, Nevada, where they undress to meet us. And ladies and gentlemen, once again in Providence, in the convention center, on the streets of Wickenden Street, or in the streets of Vancouver's Winter Olympics. Big Nazo's there for the Providence Festival, Mayor's Festival last year. And of course, always coming back to bring the kids home from school. Sometimes we go to our other jobs where we're maitre d's at restaurants, or we take orders for people who are in outside cafes. Or sometimes we go to eat ourselves. Oh, it's you again. And ladies and gentlemen, here we are at the Museum of Natural History hanging out with our friend, the whale. Doesn't say much, but sometimes we window shop. But in the end, ladies and gentlemen, what we're here to do is to make anybody out there who feels different or alone or too small to realize that there's others who feel the same way and that together there's power in knowing that's where we're coming from and that there's a place to grow towards. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm going to show you a video that I think truly expresses what we are. This is a YouTube video that was shot in Vancouver by a man named Sam Windows. He posted this titled "Alien Spotted from Rooftop." He captures a typical Big Nazo sacrifice for the community at large. These creatures are occupying blocks of the city, separated by many blocks, where they're out of touch with each other and have no awareness if an audience is there watching them or not. And yet we're doing our part to keep it weird, to make it surreal and strange. This is happening every day in our world. Whether it's our group or one of you doing what you want to do to subvert reality and make it special. And as you can see, just by walking down the streets and offering a pedestrian an explosion of newness and weirdness in their day, we do our part to make the world a stranger place. And the sacrifice involved, ladies and gentlemen, where a creature walks to a shore all by itself, walks out there, no one's watching, and yet it's still part of our show. This is what we're out there doing. Thank you very much. Thank you.